Okay, I don't know if anyone is in here yet, but I'm trying to get this set up so that. Oh, 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 oh. Let me. Trying to get this set up so that. Okay, maybe that will work. Anyway, I'm trying to watch for the chat on my phone so that I can present my screen and play some Mahjong. I don't know if anyone else around here plays Mahjong, but I love Mahjong. Hold on 1 second here. All right, I think I've got that up there now. I need to see, how do I... How do I mute on my phone? I never watch YouTube on my phone. So I just want to watch the chat there. Let me check over here. Okay, so if anyone's come in, I've been listening to this. I'm going to play Mahjong while I talk about murder. I've been listening to this stream about, they call him the Hunter Killer, and he's in Alaska. The video I'm watching is by the Mystery Abyss, which is one of the channels that I enjoy for serial killer documentaries and all that. Again, the name of it is the Mystery Abyss. But this murder was in the 70s and 80s in Anchorage, Alaska. And he was a hunter. And so he would kidnap girls, women, and generally they were strippers or prostitutes or whatever. And am I going to be able to play Mahjong and talk about this at the same time? I don't know. So let me just give you the info about the murders and everything. He was a baker. His parents had owned bakeries when he was growing up and everything. And so he knew how to be a baker. And he opened a bakery in Anchorage, Alaska. He was married. Seemed like a normal, average guy. Let me see. I'm trying to think of what his real name was. Robert Hanson was his real name. He was like an active member in his church. He was married. He owned the local bakery. All these kind of things. So, everyone just thought he was a normal guy. But it turns out that, and this case was like used in a lot of, as inspiration in a lot of TV or movies and series and things like that. It was used in kind of the way I figure it, Dexter, the most recent series of Dexter, used it loosely based on the guy who was like a hunter and liked to hunt humans. But also Mindhunter, the two guys who were involved in setting up the FBI's behavioral unit were on this case, and they kind of used it in that as well in the series Mindhunter. At any rate, what got me thinking I wanted to talk about this was that, he would kidnap these women. Well, he would get them to go with him willingly because they, wanted money. He would offer them $200 or $300 to go with him Like I said, they were generally strippers or dancers or um, prostitutes, things like that, looking to make fast money. And he would get them to go with him willingly. Then he would take them, um, kidnap them, take them out into the woods, and would threaten them, do all the things, that they do. And then he would tell them to run. And they would run, of course, for their lives. And he would chase them down, hunt them down, and stab them or shoot them and kill them. But as it went along, he needed more and more stimulation. It wasn't enough. So a lot of times he would catch them, and instead of killing them when he caught them, he would tell them to run again. And so they would take off and try and get away. And he would continue that until they were either so exhausted that they couldn't run anymore, and then he would kill them, or until he was too tired or got bored or had other things to do, I guess, and he would kill them. But there's excitement, and they get the pleasure of seeing the fear and the pleasure of the hunt and all of this. And I was sitting there, and a lot of times when I listen to these cases, I try and put myself in the place of the people, who are trying to survive. And when I put myself in their place in this, I was just like, you know what? Screw that. I'd be like, dude, I'm not running. And I mean, if you're really in that place, you don't know what you'd do, but you probably would run to try and save your life. But thinking about it ahead of time, knowing what we know about the behaviors of serial killers and things like that, the excitement is the thrill of chasing them down, or seeing the look in their eyes, the fear, the control, all of those things. And so, if I was able to keep my head about me, I would, well, and I know me, I don't enjoy running, first of all. And if I'm going to die, if you're going to kill me anyway, I'm not spending the last few minutes of my life running. Like, I have tried to avoid, well, when I was young, I used to love to run, and I ran, in school, and softball, all the running. I used to go running for fun, but I don't enjoy running anymore. I'm too old, I'm too fat, and I'm too tired. And the last thing I would do is give him the pleasure of hunting me down. As a matter of fact, who knows? You might stand a better chance of survival if you don't run. Because number one, he's not going to get excited. And number two, you'll save your energy to fight him off. So who knows? But yeah, I was just thinking about that. And I was hoping someone would show up in here and want to talk. But I guess I'll just play some Mahjong. So let me get over here to my Mahjong page. For anyone who doesn't play Mahjong or doesn't know what it is, I'm running out of time on this game, but I'll start another one. It's a tile game, like a domino tile kind of thing, where you have to make matches, and each match has point value. And we'll just let this game run out, and then I'll show you how it works. But you have, I call them, I don't know what they're called. I do know, but I can't remember. Because when I play, I just call them circles, sticks, symbols, and letters. You have those, as you can see on the screen. There's some tiles that have letters. Okay, time's up. By the way, I'm playing this on YouTube. I don't know if a lot of you know that YouTube has games. So this is a YouTube game. It deals out the tiles. You get a brief look at what tiles they're putting down. So I call them sticks, circles, symbols, letters, And then you have your colored tiles, the blues and the greens. And then you have your special tiles, which are like that red sort of eagle looking thing there. It looks like maybe a Chinese symbol for a bird or a Native American symbol or whatever. And then you have, I call them window panes. Those are special tiles. And then you have this one right here. I don't know if you can see where my cursor is. I just call it a blob. It's also a special tile. So this is a special tile. This is a special tile. And this is a special tile. If these are played in order, it makes your score higher for each pair you match. Now, the symbols, which are these, all these like the R, I have dumb names for them in my head so that I can remember when I'm playing, but the R, this window, the house, these are what I call them. That's not what they're really called. The 2 dashes, the X, all those are symbols. Any matches you make of those in a row for each one you make will get a higher point value. And until I make my first click, my timer won't start. So that's why I'm not playing. I'm just going to describe this first. Okay, so then we go to circles. The one big circle, the ones that look like dominoes here. I'm sorry, I left my door open. Could you close my door, please? I'm live. Give me 1 second here. Well, she didn't hear me. She's kind of deaf. Okay, these are circles, circles, circles. Okay, letters, of course, that's self-explanatory. The W's, S's, N's, E's. And I believe it stands for north, south, east, west. At least that's what I say when I'm playing. I don't know that for sure. And then any of those you play in a row are going to give you more points. Then there's the blues and the greens. Now, the blues only stack point-wise with blues. The greens only stack point-wise with the greens. These birds, they only stack with sticks. So, and I think the sticks are actually called bamboo in the game. And so you can remember that if you play the birds, they stack with them. And it's like birds would sit on bamboo. So there is the quick explanation. And then, like I said, the goal is to empty the entire pile by making matches of 2. And as you do that, you want to stack them, like play back to back of the same suit to get more points. Okay, so here we go. I usually start by trying to get an overall view of what is showing the most. It looks to me like, first of all, because you don't get to stack like blues and greens like you normally do, I usually try and get any colored ones that I can out. You can't play a tile until it's cleared on one of the sides, but not the top or bottom. It has to be an actual side. So if I wanted to play this tile right here, I can't because both sides are blocked in. So I can only play tiles that are unblocked on a side. We have 2 special tiles here, and it's hard to get a lot of special tiles in a row. So I'm going to go ahead and clear those out. We're going to clear this. That's 1. Now watch as I clear this other special tile. I get a chain of 2. I'm not going to get much more of a chain than that on the special tiles because there's only 3 special tiles and I only had 2 open. So we're going to next look for where we think we can get one of the biggest chains going. And I think that we might do sticks first, but I'm not sure yet. We might do special characters. I'm trying to get an overall view of which seems to have the most available openings. Okay, so if I'm not talking, I do this a lot faster. I'm going to go ahead and clear these just to open up a few more. These two letters. It's hard to get a lot of letters in a row to get a chain going too. But once we get a chain going, I'll show you how the score starts stacking up. Let's try symbols. So we're going to go unblock this middle pile. And let's see, we want to do this. I could take this one with it, but I'm going to take this one with it because even if I take this one, it doesn't open anything else up yet. But if I take this one, it opens up this one. So you always kind of want to be looking ahead for what you're going to do. We can clear these two. We've got a chain of 4 now, a chain of 5 now, and the score up here gets higher and higher the longer your chain is. So let's see, do we have anything else that we can make that chain out of? I find that this is a fun game to play when I'm listening to murder mysteries. Or listening to a documentary. I don't watch a lot of things. I like to just listen to them. So, okay, we're going to change to circles here so we can open some of this up. Sometimes I don't make the best decisions because I get in a hurry or I just go with what I see first and I'll block myself in, which gets frustrating, but you know, I'm playing by myself, so I'm my only opponent. We're going to go ahead and clear this green so we can start opening this up because we're, you know, all these are completely blocked in. Let's see. I'm going to open this up. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do some sticks here. Goodness, this is not a good game for getting big long chains going. Sometimes I can get 10 or 11 in a row, but some of the deals are harder than others. And I normally don't talk this much while I'm playing, so that's a little bit distracting too. Okay. I'm just trying to get some things open so I can get something going here. This was a very confused deal. Oops, that one's not open. Ideally, I want to get one of these open because uh, all this is blocked. Goodness. Yeah. I also have a button down here for a hint, and I'll show you how that works. You click on it, and it'll give you where there's a play. On the next one that I play, I'm not going to talk so that I can pay attention. Let's see. See, I can't even find my own matches because I'm distracted by talking. Doesn't seem like anyone's in here listening anyway. So, or talking anyway. I might have a couple people listening. It's raining here today. It's been raining for the last several days. So it's gloomy and cold. We get a lot of rain here in my part of Texas during the late winter months, like after Christmas. Lots and lots of rain. I never run out of time on these, but I wouldn't be surprised if I ran out of time on this one. Oh, this also shows you how many open matches you have up here. When it gets low, I just take whatever match I can find. Let's see. I only have one match left, and I'm not going to be good at finding. I have a hard time sometimes spotting them. No possible moves. Okay, so let me check over here and see if anyone's... Hey, Conklin, it's great to see you. Sunny and 70? Get out of here. Do you ever play Mahjong, Conklin? That's what I'm playing. And I play this on YouTube. YouTube has games. And there's a few games on here that I've gotten really addicted to. Mahjong being one of them, which I used to play it at other places. But I've gotten addicted to Mahjong. And then they have a couple of simulation games that I can't even go any further in because I've done everything in the simulation game. But I still sometimes just get addicted and keep playing. It's crazy. Okay, so I'm going to go back here and I only got 53,000 on that. My high score on this is down here. It's 101,972, 101,972. I'm still trying to beat that. I haven't been able to. I'm going to start a new game. No, I've seen it, but I've never had the opportunity to learn how to play. Well, it looks a lot more difficult than it is. The main thing is you just have to get good at looking for matches and clearing things out and leaving enough matches of the same suit so that you can get a big long chain going so that you can get more and more points. Hey, I'm live. Could you close my door, please, while you're up? Thank you. No. You want to say hi to Conk? You want to say hi to Conk?
Hey, Conk. I don't know if he can hear me.
He can. It looks like concentration, but with cards facing up. It's kind of like concentration, but, you know, it just, I don't know. Kind of. He says, hey, Luke.
Tell him I said he's a smelly pirate hooker.
Okay. He says you're a smelly pirate hooker.
Oh. Okay, you are live.
Yeah, I'm live. No. It's a fun game, Conklin. Yeah, watch me. I've got my phone open so I can see if you chat, but we're going to start a new game here. I'll probably be quiet because this time I want to see if I can do good. Okay, I love you. Go ahead and clear those out just because they annoy me. Let's see. Right now, I'm just kind of trying to set up the board. I see a lot of matches. It's not that I don't see the matches. I'm just trying to figure which matches I should clear out to get the longest chain going. So that's why I'm not doing anything yet. It takes a little bit of forethought and planning. Okay, so I'm going to start with circles, which may not have been a good idea, but I did it anyway. Why did I do that? I must have saw something that made me think it was a good idea. So why don't I see it now? Okay, bad idea. What did I see? Okay, we'll just change over to sticks. Now I don't see it. What am I doing here? I've got myself distracted. I saw something that I was going to start, and then I distracted myself. Sticky Pete. Okay, let's see. Got to get serious here now. All right, what am I going to do? Okay. So we got a chain of 2 because I'm trying sticks here. And it's not going to work out for me. All right, so let's just clear some of these things out and see what we can get going. We're going to do our N's, our E's, our S's, our W's. We got a chain of 4. And I think that's all the letters that are there. Okay, go ahead and clear out this green because you never get a chain going with the colors. Just get it out of the way. Okay. 3, 3. 6, 6. 9, 9. I really want to get this one out of the way because it's blocking so much off. But we'll just keep doing. There we go. We have a match right there. Right, no more circles open with matches. Let's do this. Like I said, you have to have. Yeah, I play it all the time. Have I ever played it before? Smartass. I play this all the time, but knowing that someone's watching me, no, I don't want to do that. These makes me all shy and uncertain of my moves. Oh no. Have you ever played this before? Okay, so I think I got all the special characters that I can get to. I'm gonna go through these letters here just to get them out of the way so we can see more of the board. By the way, you can't match anything that isn't open on the sides. Like, if it's open on the top or the bottom, like this one right here, isn't in play. So I can't make that match, see? Because you can't get it out. Okay, let's see. Chain of 4. I need one of my big long chains, like where I get 10 or 11 in a row. I'm disappointing myself majorly. So I was talking about murder a little bit earlier, Conklin. I don't know if you were in here. But I was saying how this guy I was watching a documentary about, or listening to a documentary about, he would kidnap these women who were prostitutes and stuff, offer them money, and they'd go with him willingly, but then he'd kidnap them and take them out, and he would hunt them. He'd take them out into the woods and make them run. He'd tell them to run, and then he would hunt them down and stab them or shoot them. But sometimes when he'd catch them, he wanted more excitement, and he'd tell them to run again. And then eventually, when they got too tired to run, or he got bored or had to, head back home for work or whatever, he would kill them. But I was saying how, that the excitement and the thrill of it is what attracts serial killers and stuff like that, right? So I was thinking, if I was in that situation, what would I do? And at this age, I've decided that I'm not spending the last minutes of my life running, because I don't want to, first of all, but also because I just wouldn't want to give him the satisfaction of, if you're going to kill me, you're not, at least I'm going to make it miserable for you. You're not going to enjoy it. So yeah, I decided that if I ever find myself in that situation, I'm going to fight the instinct to run and save my energy to try and, physically fight someone off. And at the very worst, because he's going to kill you anyway when he catches you, and he will catch you. But at the very least, he's not going to enjoy it, right? All right, I'm getting stuck here because I'm talking again. I think I'm just about done. This game is going to... And 0. No possible moves. I only got 63,000 on that one. Okay, so let me go back over here and we'll just chat for a little bit. How about that? Because you're disrupting my Mahjong mojo, and I'm not able to do well. So you know what? I'm not going to share it with you anymore. How do I stop? There we go. I'm still going to play Mahjong, though. You haven't stopped me from enjoying Mahjong. You've just stopped me from sharing my screen with you. Trying to make me feel bad. Okay, so the rules of Mahjong are: you make your matches. There are suits, like card suits. But there's more of them. And so if you look it up, it'll show you each suit. Like I don't call them what they're really called. I think they're called bamboos, dots, something. Anyway, I call them sticks, circles, letters, special characters, stuff like that. Because in my head, then I can keep them straight. But anyway, the more of one suit that you get in a row, the more matches you make, the more points you get. Now, the colored ones, I hate. The greens and blues. I hate those because blues can only play with blues and greens can only play with greens. And there's only 4 blues and 4 greens. So the most you're ever going to get on those is a chain of 2. So they make me mad. I just try and clear them off the board as fast as I can. Then there's the special ones, which are like the red one that looks like a cross or a bird, the one that looks like a window pane, and the one that looks like a blob. There are 6 of those. So you can, if you play it right, get a chain of 6 out of those. But generally, if you can get a chain of 2 or 3, that's good. I've gotten, I think the longest chain I ever got was 11. And you start getting up into some big points when you can get into a chain of 11. So sometimes I'll take like short chains of just, 1 or 2 to clear the board so I can set it up where I have like a ton of sticks or whatever showing, and then get that one real super long chain. It's definitely a game you can play when you don't want to think, like when you just want to clear your mind. But it's also a game to play if you really want to think. Like if you want to look at the board and think your moves out, so you're clearing things and get a really long one. But then there's other times that I'll sit and play it and there's not a thought in my head. I just click and make my matches. I'm addicted to it. I've been playing it for, gosh, years and years on and off. It was probably one of the first games I ever played on the internet when the internet came out, that and Solitaire. And then on and off, I find different versions of it that I like better. This one on YouTube is actually a pretty good version. I'm kind of impressed with it, you know? I see you've been making more and more music over there. That's pretty cool. You put up a lot of them that I need to go listen to. A lot of them I've already heard. But like I said, I like to play these games like this when I'm listening to serial killer documentaries or to history documentaries. I've been listening to a lot of documentaries from historical periods like the medieval times or the Victorian era, things like that. I find a lot of really good ones on the History Channel, YouTube channel, or National Geographic. I am like a documentary junkie. I love them. And mostly I love them because I can just listen to them. I don't have to watch them. As I've gotten older, and it may be my ADHD or something like that, I don't like to have to feel like I'm tied to watching something. I'd much rather just listen to it so I can do other things. If I don't have 2 or 3 things going on at once, I just feel like I'm not doing anything. So I can't sit and watch and listen to something at the same time and enjoy it because I feel like I should be playing a game or straightening out my bill collector thingy, my bill bin, where I keep important papers until I don't need them anymore, or I keep my bills. You know, if I can have 2 or 3 things going on at once, I feel more productive, even though I'm probably not more productive. I feel productive. It keeps me so busy that I can't think, which I guess is not necessarily a good thing. What did they say, Conklin? What did the History Channel say that was false? I mean, I'm sure they say lots of things that are false, but what was the particular falsehood that just did it for you, that was a deal breaker? I need to know the deal breaker so I know how far I can push my falsehoods with you. Can you hear my computer fan running? It's been driving me crazy. It's gotten like wonky, and so it kind of. They said an 80,000-pound vehicle was not allowed to cross the Hoover Dam. I've crossed it several times. 80,000 pounds, so that would be what, 40 tons? I wonder what the limit on the Hoover. Alexa, what's the weight limit on the Hoover Dam?
The weight limit for the Hoover Dam is 250 pounds. This limit is imposed to ensure the safety of the dam and prevent damage caused by excessive weight. Any individuals exceeding this weight limit are not allowed to visit the dam or engage in activities such as the zipline tour.
Okay, that wasn't what I wanted to know. 250 pounds on the Hoover Dam. So if you're a fatty, you might crush the dam. That was totally uh, not the right context for what I wanted to know. Alexa, what is the limit for a vehicle crossing the Hoover Dam?
The limit for a vehicle crossing the Hoover Dam is 18-wheelers. Due to the dam's security restrictions, most trucks and 18-wheelers are not allowed to cross the dam. However, U.S. officials have slightly eased the security restrictions on trucks crossing the dam, allowing some trucks to access the dam.
Alexa, what is the weight of an 18-wheeler?
I don't have an answer for that.
Okay. Well, Conklin, you were right. The limit is an 18-wheeler. Now, does that mean with a full load or without a full load? You know more than Alexa. Tell me. Were you empty when you crossed it? Was your load empty? Well, that sounds personal. 80,000 pounds loaded? Okay. All right. Well, I trust you to know more about it than this thing over here. So a full load on an 18-wheeler, a full load would be considered 40 tons then, right? Because Alexa, is 80,000 pounds 40 tons?
From flagpedia.org, 40 ton is equal to 80,000 pounds.
Yeah, okay. I thought I was right on that. A ton is 2,000 pounds, and then 2,000 into 80,000 is 40. So my math checked out. 16,000 front axle and 32,000 on each twin axle is limit. Okay, so 16,000 on the front axle and yeah, that equals 40, doesn't it? I am learning so much, and I'm getting to practice my recall of mathematical units. I always learn something when you're around, Conklin. So they said it wasn't allowed to cross the dam, and that was your breaking point. You said, nope, no more History Channel. Well, I think I've got a little leeway then, because I will never tell you you can't cross the Hoover Dam unless you weigh more than 250 pounds, because according to Alexa, if you weigh more than 250 pounds, you're not allowed on the Hoover Dam. Well, I figured if they could get that simple fact incorrect, what else have they misstated? Exactly. And I find a lot of that when I'm listening to documentaries, that they'll have, I like to assume it's unintentional. Like if it's on the History Channel, and I heard them say, now that I know different, that a vehicle that was 80,000 pounds wasn't allowed to cross the Hoover Dam, I would think, well, maybe the writer um, meant to say that a vehicle in excess of 80,000 pounds was not allowed to cross the Hoover Dam. So I would kind of give them because I hear a lot of things like that in documentaries that I just know are not right. But because I know they're not right, I don't feel like I've been done a disservice. A lot of the documentaries I listen to, maybe things have changed since I listened to it. Or maybe, like I said, the narrator didn't understand the script they were reading and no one caught it. And I do notice those a lot in documentaries. But I guess I just don't feel upset because I figure I know the truth, so, and I'll double check it or whatever. It was a point critical to why claimed actions were taken. Okay. All right. Well, listen, Conklin, I don't blame you. You set your boundaries and you stick to them. And if that was the breaking point of your relationship with the History Channel, I firmly support you on it. We all have to have a stance that we take and stick to, right? And so, hey, that's yours. And if the History Channel ever comes to me and has criticism of you for walking away, I want you to know I'm on your side. You have your boundaries, and that was the deal breaker. And they should have treated your relationship with more responsibility and care. Hey, that's just how I feel. The whole alien things now too. Yeah, I'm not too big into the alien history stuff. I don't ever watch those. I'm more like the ones that are focused on the people of certain times. Like what's a recent one that I really enjoyed? Like how the people in medieval times had their sleep patterns and stuff. Remember, I think it was you and I, who were talking about how back in the day, way back in the day, people used to have 2 sleeps instead of just one nightly sleep, like for 8 hours. They would have 2 sleeps for roughly, 4 hours. And it worked better for them, number one, because it was medieval times. There was no electricity. There was no television. There was no all the crazy things that can keep you occupied through the dark of the night. But they also got their quiet time and their time to work or write or whatever, philosophize during those dark, quiet hours of the night. So they would go to sleep when it got dark, like if it got dark at 8 o'clock at night, and then they'd get back up at midnight, and from midnight till 3 or 4 in the morning, they would, write or think or any of the things that they did, whatever. And then 2 or 3 hours after they got back up, they would go back to bed for another 4. And by the time they got back up, the sun was coming up and it was time to go, forage for food or plant or harvest or do, any of the number of things, bump into things in the dark. Right. Exactly. If you are into historical things, paranormal things, mystery things, I listen to this channel at night when I go to bed. It's called Weird Darkness. I like the guy's voice. It soothes me and calms me. But he talks about some really mysterious, odd, paranormal, supernatural, I find I'm not really big on listening to things about Bigfoot or other cryptids and stuff, but I find that when he does them, I find them interesting. How so many creatures of the night tales came about. Right. And he does a lot of those creatures in the night tales. I even tend to enjoy his alien things that he does. And I'm not big on listening to things about aliens. He really focuses on the mystery of it all, right? And he just makes it interesting enough that I listen to it, but also benign enough that I can fall asleep to it. It's wonderful. And he puts up 2 or 3 uploads a day, so there's always something new to listen to, and I really enjoy it. Again, it's called Weird Darkness with Darren Marlar, I think is his name. But if you put in Weird Darkness into the search, I'm sure he'll come up. He does a lot of things about serial killers, about historical, like, things that have happened, historical disasters that have happened that have caused people to feel like there's supernatural things going on, like the big fires and stuff, like when Chicago burnt, or the Hindenburg, things like that, disasters that happen, and then the supernatural things that are surrounding them now. And I saw an interesting account of the tale of the Pied Piper. I think how a ruling monarch ordered the taking of a mass of children to relocate. Yeah, the Pied Piper was a sick fairy tale we used to listen to, right? And a lot of the fairy tales, as we know them, were based on true historical events and were really dark, but they have been, just put into our normal culture as being fairy tales. And documents showed surnames matching those of the area where the children were taken. Wow. Very cool. I love stuff like that. Love, love, love. I find it very interesting. I wish I had more people in my life I could discuss those kind of things with. But most of the people, like my dad and I, will talk about these things a lot. So I enjoy that. Whenever we talk about a lot of historical things. My dad is really big into history and mysteries and stuff like that. So a lot of times when I find a really good Weird Darkness thing, my dad's not a YouTube kind of guy. He doesn't understand how all that works, but I'll send him a link and he will watch the one that I send. He doesn't know how to watch others, but yeah. Ring Around the Rosie in itself, it's a song that we all sing as kids, or we used to. I don't know if kids still do Ring Around the Rosie, but Ring Around the Rosie was actually about a plague and the ring around the spot on you, and you were going to die and be burnt. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. So, we're going to burn you because we all are going to die from this plague. But here, as kids, we were holding hands and singing and going in a circle and all that. And then Jack and Jill, that's the story, that Jack fell down and broke his crown and Jill came tumbling after. It's a story of a king and queen who, the king lost his crown, he was beheaded, and Jill followed in that. And so, I just like finding out the origins or the sources of the things that become such a part of our culture, that are made to seem lighthearted or fun or playful and are really very dark. My brain is full of useless information too. more than I should probably have in there. My brain is mostly clogged up with 80s song lyrics and information about things that no one will ever ask me. I've got my brain tubes clogged with that. So, kind of like Cliffy sitting in Cheers. What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Once you tell me, I might know, but my brain is not making a connection right now. Man, the coffee is really good today for some reason. Oh, it's noon. The church bells are going off. I wish you could hear them. Sorry about that. I just choked on my coffee. I didn't mean to cough in your ear so loud, but I thought I was going to spit coffee everywhere. Give me just a second. I just complimented the coffee and then it turned around and choked me. Okay, Cliff Clavin, he always had some bit of information to share. Yeah, yep. I wouldn't have made that connection when you said it, but now I do remember. I don't remember a whole lot about Cheers. I used to watch it, but for some reason the Cheers section of my memory isn't highlighted. Totally irrelevant to what any conversation about him was about. I feel like that. Like someone will say something and I'll bring up something to me that's interesting, and everyone just kind of looks at me like, that wasn't really relevant, but okay. But to me, it was relevant. It made me think of it. I think pretty much I annoy people who want to stay on topic, is what I do. So, what do you think about all this stuff going on with the government? Maybe I shouldn't ask that. Maybe none of us need to get our blood pressure up. But I try not to think about it, but I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine how scared some people have to be right now. And it's completely irresponsible and callous to be making people who are the most vulnerable right now worry about their very existence. Right, tossing similarities into the conversation to build on it. We'll call it that, because that sounds a lot better than calling someone and their thoughts irrelevant or not topic appropriate. So not staying on topic. But yeah, this thing going on with the sudden shutdown of federal funding and grants and stuff is really pissing me off. I think from the way I've looked into it, it's not going to affect me very much, like personally. But it could, because they could be lying. But you know what? When you start showing that Meals on Wheels is no longer going to be funded, when you start saying that Head Start is no longer going to be funded, that there's some agricultural programs that won't be funded, there are emergency management and response, like ambulance services, some hospital services, research services, all those aren't going to be. I start getting angry. Even if it doesn't affect me directly, it's going to affect all of us. Right. And they say that it's not about cutting Social Security, Medicare, and all that. They say, here is what they're saying, okay? But you have to listen beyond the words that they're saying. It has been said that it will not affect any individual programming like Social Security or Medicare, because those go directly to the individual, right? What they're saying is it's only going to affect agencies. So like Meals on Wheels, Head Start, emergency management response teams, services, whatever. But here's the thing with that. Like I said, you have to listen to what they're not saying in conclusion with what they are saying. So they're saying it's not going to affect the individual programs, but it is going to affect the other programs, like the social programs. Here's the thing with that. Do they think that the 75-year-old woman who comes to her door to pick up her Meals on Wheels every day, because that's her only meal for the day, do they think she's not an individual? So it is going to affect the individuals. Do they think that the parents who live in poverty but are trying to work and use Head Start to help with childcare, and those children who to be educated, are they not individuals? It's stupid. Like I said, you have to listen to what they're saying and listen to what's not being said at the same time. Because I can guarantee you that every person who gets Meals on Wheels is an individual and will be affected. Their nutrition value and intake will be affected. Their social lives will be affected. Their safety will be affected. Some people, Meals on Wheels coming to their door once a day is the only social interaction they get, or the only way that a person would even know whether they're dead or alive. So we're not just talking about giving a person food. We're also talking about giving them a link to safety measures, giving them a link to social matters, giving them a link to troubleshooting for their health, their safety, their very sanity. Anyway, I'm getting myself all upset again, which, was why I was playing Mahjong and listening to Murder in the first place. Because the busier I can keep my mind, the less I think about all this stuff. Oh yeah, that's another one that's on the chopping block is housing. Yeah, Section 8 and other housing support. Do they think that the kids who live in those and I always say the kids, because so many people, their argument to come back is, well, those adult parents should get a job, or those adult, and you know what? They should. But we could sit here and should all day long. We don't know people's individual circumstances. People have mental illnesses. People have physical illnesses. People have histories that keep them from being able to do what we all should do, right? So I don't even argue with that anymore. I just say, what about the kids who don't have a choice? Because I could sit and argue with some idiot all day long that a drug addict should get off drugs and should just go get a job and take care of their kids. But let's just say that not everyone is perfect. Not everyone can make such brilliant decisions to just get off drugs, go get a job, and be a good parent, right? So since they can't do that, not everyone can, let's at least think of the kids who need Section 8 so that their quote unquote loser parents can keep a roof over their head, or who need SNAP benefits so that they can eat, or who need school lunch and school meal programs so that they can at least get 1 or 2 semi-healthy meals a day. Right, and that's another argument that I get sick of making, Conklin, is that a lot of the people in Section 8 housing and on food stamps work. They work already. They're doing what we expect them to do. But because their jobs pay so little and their lives get so hectic and they get in that cycle of poverty and they can't get out of it because there's only so much help, and God forbid you get a 30-cent raise and that puts you over the limit. Do you think 30 cents an hour is going to really change the way you can pay for your own groceries? No, but you get a 30-cent raise and you will be cut off your benefits, just out of, cut and dry. Like, no, here we're going to just lessen it a little bit. No, you'll be out of Section 8. You'll be off food stamps. It's ridiculous. There is no way to help people once they're in poverty get out of it. What you're basically seeing is you're just helping them to stay in poverty. Do you think that there aren't people who live in Section 8 housing who are on food stamps and stuff like that who don't wish they could go to college and get a degree and actually go make real money? Their dreams are gone. Once you sign on that line and start accepting the benefits, you are stuck in that cycle because no one is willing to help you negotiate the steps to get out of it eventually. You have to be cut off, cut and dry at a certain level. There's no, assimilating between standards of living. You are either in poverty and dependent on benefits, or you start doing too well and you get nothing. Yeah, we're going to cut the Department of Education. They've offered to buy out 2 million federal workers. Every single federal worker got an email for a buyout. And they say that it's going to save a lot of money because the people who don't want to transition back into full-time employment or back into the office or whatever, because they've been letting them do the jobs they do from home and stuff, that it's going to help. It's going to cut the fat from the program, and all this. Okay, so they're expecting a lot of people to take those offers. Who's going to do the jobs then? So you're saving money, but there's no one to do the job? How does that work? And this is Elon's big freaking idea to do this. I think that the email had the same email he sent, title that he sent to Twitter users. Something about, I forget what it was. But anyway, it was the same one. And look how well that worked for Twitter, right? DOE doesn't set standards for education they oversee. Exactly. And these are all laws as well. You don't just get to blanketly cut laws. That's not how the government works. The funding for these places are laws. Right. They want no oversight. Let's just call it what it is. The more money they cut from vulnerable people, the more tax breaks they can give to the ultra wealthy. And it's pathetic. Okay. But I've seen some shorts and stuff on YouTube of people freaking out, thinking that their benefits are going to get cut. How are they going to feed their kids? All this stuff. What's going to happen to their grandparents who depend on Meals on Wheels so that they don't have to buy as much food so that they can pay for their drug costs, all this stuff. A lot of people are realizing that they aren't special. When the election was going on, they thought, but I'm special. It won't happen to me. But yeah, when it's being done, it is happening to your grandparents, to your kids, to your sister's kids, to your, whoever. Even if it doesn't affect you, like directly, it's gonna affect you. And I just hope that there are enough people in government to say, no, it's not right. This isn't how it goes. And that not a single person is put in the position to all of a sudden not have their Meals on Wheels or their home health care or whatever. But there are already places in states like it was either Massachusetts or Connecticut where Head Start has already been, defunded. People are not able to get into their benefits accounts online, where they have cut people off from seeing about their benefits. So there are going to be people who are already affected, even though they put a stay on it until Monday, I think was the last I saw, that they wanted to have a few more days to see what could be done. A judge ordered that nothing take place until Monday at, I don't know, 5:30. But there are already people who are panicked. They're scared. They're feeling like they're not important to anyone. Why do that to people? It's just cruel. It's cruel. It's mean. It's evil. It's downright evil to make the people who are already struggling scared that they'll have the little bit of anything they have will no longer be. I can't even imagine being 75, 80 years old. The only person I see with any regularity is the, middle-aged volunteer worker who shows up at my door Monday through Friday once a day to drop off a meal to me, and hearing that I'm not even going to get that meal anymore. I'm not even going to have that one person 5 days a week show up at my door for 2 minutes to make sure that I'm alive, that I'm not laying in the middle of the bathroom floor, because I fell, whatever. I can't even imagine that. And then to make that person feel more vulnerable and scared. Conklin, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. I just hope that there are enough smart, diligent people in the government who work hard to stop all this. It's unnecessary, and then turning all our allies against us. You've got France sending troops into Denmark, sending, fighter planes and stuff to Denmark. When did this happen? When did we start having a problem with Denmark? When did we become public enemy number one to Canada, Mexico, Denmark, Panama, all these places? It just started for no reason. I don't think I know of a single person, I mean, me personally, that I know, like personally, know, talk to on a regular basis, who thinks we should be taking over Canada or Panama or Greenland or Mexico or any of these places. We like them the way they are. We like having our neighbor to the north, who is our ally, who is our friend, but who is not us. We need that stability that comes from Canada. you know? When we need lumber, when we need all the things, that we get from places, it's nice to know that they're our friends. Yeah, I try not to watch too much news, but I like to watch enough news that I feel like I'm informed, but not so much that I feel like I'm bombarded. Maple syrup, exactly. Manners, like most Canadians have manners. Uh, things that are important. It's like the new view of the United States is that they want to be the only child, stomping their foot and throwing tantrums when they don't get their way. But most of us view America like we are one of the siblings or the cousins. We've got our cousins and our siblings. Canada is a sibling. Uh, Greenland and Denmark and France and places like that, they're our distant cousins, but they're cousins, and we look forward to meeting with them and in have working things out. Mexico is a sibling. We're all attached. I think people like that view much better than just seeing America as this spoiled, rotten brat child who stomps their foot and throws tantrums and says, I'm taking my ball and I'm going to stab my ball because it's not enough to take my ball and go home so no one can play, but I'm going to stab it and flatten it, and then I'm going to leave it here on your stupid playground so that it litters it up and nobody can play, but it also looks really bad. And if you won't do it, it's just ridiculous. It's awful. And it's like he wants to flood the zone. It's not enough to do one thing like start turning allies against us. So that they feel like they need to increase their military presence and stuff. That's not enough, but we also need to drop out of the World Health Organization. We need to make our own citizens feel like we're coming for their money and their well-being. We've got to flood the zone. We've got to make it so overwhelming that people feel helpless and hopeless and like they can't do anything about all of it. So why do anything about any of it? Just make everyone subservient through overwhelming them. And it's been a tactic that we've seen before. And I hate to say where we've seen it before, because then that gets you into another argument with ridiculous people about, I'll just say it. We saw it in Nazi Germany, okay? Overwhelm people so that they don't feel like they need to fight back, first of all, because it's not affecting them, and it's too overwhelming to think about all of it, but also just to make people subservient through feeling helpless, hopeless, like no one can help them, like no one cares about them, like they are low, and what did he call them? Was it vermin? We've seen it before. We've seen this playbook before. I wouldn't trust that for a minute, Conklin. And you hear Trump saying how it's going to be the golden age of America, the golden age. What's another name for golden age? The Gilded Age. We've already been there. We saw how poorly that turned out, right? A lot of things did happen in the Gilded Age that were important, like railroads and communication networks and all of that kind of stuff. So some good did come of it. But honestly, the Gilded Age was terrible for people who weren't ultra wealthy. And if you look just a little bit further down the line, what happened after that? The Great Depression. A war, and then a comeback of sorts, and then the Great Depression. Because it just destabilized the entire economy. And while having a war generally does improve the economy directly after, as we saw in like World War I, and then again in World War II, because of the Gilded Age, as soon as people started to feel the increase in the economy of World War I, we went into the Great Depression. So, and this is why I wish people would watch history documentaries. Yeah, the Vanderbilts, the Astors, the let's see, who else was there? The and it was a great time for them. So when you're talking about the Gilded Age, Trump is just using his own terms again. Like, no one ever thought of the word groceries before, right? Groceries. I call them groceries. He's calling it the Golden Age. And it's going to be a bunch of robber barons, just like in the Gilded Age. And while it will be wonderful for the ultra wealthy, it's going to be really shitty for those who don't make that list. And that is the majority of us. Anyway, look at me getting all political and freaking angry. But it does make me angry, and it does make me scared. And here's one of the things. When I'm scared, some people go into a shell when they're scared, and they get really timid and meek, and they just try not to rustle the waters or whatever. I did enough of that in my life in the past. As I've become healthier emotionally and psychologically, I tend to find more anger in fear now. When I'm afraid or I feel threatened now, I used to be the freeze person or the flight person. Now I'm an anger person. Okay, fight. Until it gets too overwhelming and I've had enough, then I usually do step back for a while, hide in my shell for a little bit, just to recuperate some of the feelings of strength I have again. I would love to be in a position of power during a time like this where I could make decisions that could literally change something, but I am helpless. I'm as helpless as everyone else right now because I have no real power. They say, oh, your power is in your vote. Your power is in your voice. Well, there's some truth to that, but honestly, your power is in your wallet, okay? That's where your power is, clearly. And I have none. You're turning into a grumpy old man. I'll turn into a grumpy old man with you too. That'll show them because they don't want people to be trans. I'll turn into a grumpy old man. That's where my power is. That'll teach them a lesson. Someone who isn't trans, I'm going to be trans. Just so I can be a grumpy old man and show them. Yeah, the Rockefellers. Yep. It was a wonderful time for all of them. Wonderful. And like I said, some good did come out of it. The network of railroads that furthered our production and distribution of products and helped people to get from one place to another with more efficiency and stuff like that. Some good things did come of it. But we've got railroads now. We don't need ultra wealthy people. What we need is a disbursement. Excuse me. A disbursement of wealth where everyone can be given dignity. And until every person in our country has health care, has housing, has all of the things we need, why are we trying to take on other populations? We haven't even done right by our own population yet. So the song I uploaded, Grandpa Mac, I sent it to a music producer friend, and he replied back that the song was indeed marketable. We'll see where it goes. Cool. Very cool. You'll have to keep me updated. You have a music producer friend. Ooh. Ooh la la. Very cool. Okay, well, I've gotten myself sufficiently riled up. I've got my coffee just about gone. I talked about murder. I played some Mahjong. I had a good conversation with you. Oh, really? So he's a pretty big time guy. Cool. Journey is awesome. And I like that one, maybe two Florida Georgia Line songs. That's not really my generation so much, though, but Journey, you're speaking my language. But I'm not going to get excited. I'll have to go listen to the song. Did you put it up? Yeah, you said you uploaded it. I'll have to go listen to it. Do you want me to play it on here? I can listen to it right here if you want me to. Let me find. Let me find it. There it is. Is it okay if I play it? I just want to know you aren't going to strike me. Okay, let me share my screen. Present. Share screen. Share screen. Grandpa Mac. Let's see. Hold on. I did that wrong. Okay, hold on. StreamYard Studio. Present. Share screen. Grandpa Mac. Share. Okay, is it up there? Got tissue, Sandy? I sure do. I always have my tissue box right here on my desk. Let's see. Let me go back over here. Okay, here we go. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. Sometimes when I play things through here, I don't know how to turn the sound on so that it gets it. Let's see. Let me know if you can hear it.
Grandpa Mac, he's hunched and blind, driving slow, lost track of time. With Grandma by his side, oh so sweet, cruising in that Cadillac down Main Street. He's a shadow of the past, moving slow, speed limit 65, but he don't know. Traffic's backed up, but he's carefree in that old Cadillac, just Grandpa Mac and me. His license expired years ago, he don't care. He's got places to go. With those old sunglasses perched on his nose, the world passes by, nobody knows. He's a shadow of the past, moving slow. Speed limit 65, but he don't know. Traffic's backed up, but he's carefree in that old Cadillac, just Grandpa Mac and me. Every curve's a new adventure. Retired now, he's got no pressure. Life in the slow lane, just a memory. Grandpa Mac and Grandma, they're free as can be. I see folks honking, but he don't mind. He's got stories he's lost in time. That Cadillac's a treasure, aged and wise, rolling through life with love in his eyes.
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. That is a really good song. I'm surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised that it's a good song, but I'm surprised that that's AI. It like really took the lyrics and went the right way with them. The music goes with it. Life is short. Let's see. Go see if I can find it. Oh, Life's Too Short. Is that the name of it? Let's see. Hold on 1 second. Let me share my screen. Present. Share screen. Life's Too Short. Okay, let's see.
Saw Bigfoot dancing in the backyard. He said, "Man, don't you work too hard." I thought that's kind of strange, but who am I to judge? Maybe he's just a big old fuzzy grudge.
I have to tell you one thing that makes this one not as good as the other one, and this is supposed to be like not a criticism or anything, but just my opinion, okay? The voice on this AI does that techno thing a little bit. What's it called? Auto-tune type thing. That I don't like. But that's a personal opinion. Some people like that. But that first one that we listened to, the voice for being AI was very believable and not too computerized, if you know what I'm saying. So far, I think I heard this one the other day in your stream, and I liked it. But the one thing that I don't enjoy about this one, and like I said, it's personal opinion. Some people like it. I don't like the auto-tune type voice. It sounds more computerized. Okay, good. I'm glad. I didn't want to offend you in any way, but you know, I like to share my opinions. I like people to share their opinions with me and be honest and not worry about, you know, holding back. So I just wanted to say that. Let's listen to it though.
Flat Earth believers having a town parade with batters there with this ain't no charade. I kept my lips sealed and smiled all the while when an alien winked his head, stay in style. People say I'm crazy as a loon, talking about leprechauns and Nessie's tune. You can call it fake news, call it insane, but life's too short to be mundane. Listen, man showed up at the local diner. The cook said, you know, I thought he'd be finer. Stirred my coffee, squinted through the haze.
One other thing though, and this is just a small thing. It's just a personal thing again. 2 has 2 zeros. TOO. So if you want to put it forward to anyone, change that. I'm a stickler for grammar rules and spelling and all of that. So, sorry.
Thinking, boy, life's a real funny me. A storm was coming, but I made it stop, cause I got weather control from an old man shop. Don't be dumb, said my best friend Pete, but I turned sunshine all right down the street. People say I'm crazy as a loon, talking about leprechauns and Nessie's tune. You can call it fake news, call it insane, but life's too short to be mundane.
Does have good lyrics. I'll get that.
People say I'm crazy as a loon, talking about leprechauns and Nessie's tune. You can call it fake news, call it insane, but life's too short to be mundane. Mundane. Be mundane.
I do like the lyrics to that. Yeah. Very good. Does it keep going? Oh, it played again. Okay. I like it. If you're gonna put it to anyone though, Life's would have an apostrophe and 2 has 2 zeros. That just makes it look more professional. It, like I said, it doesn't really matter to the quality of the lyrics or anything. Two is a measure, with like 2 zeros is a measure, like too much or too little or too many. It indicates an excess. TO is just, you know, 2, like you're going to the store or whatever. Oh, okay, under 3 minutes, YouTube makes it a short, so you put, I see. But Life's would have an apostrophe where life is, and then 2 would have 2 zeros, and it looks very professional that way. And I love the lyrics, and it is upbeat. I like that. Like I said, the one thing is, and it seems like as the song went on, that that computerized sound of the singer went away. I didn't notice it as much, but in the very beginning of it, I noticed it. But yeah, it looks like you are having a good time and some great success with the AI stuff. I'll be your spell check. I am like so bad at correcting people, and some people don't take it well, but I can't stop doing it. If someone doesn't take it well, it makes me feel bad. But at the same time, I know there are times when I've spelled things wrong or had a typo or an error of some sort. And when I do realize it, I think, well, I asked this person how they thought about it, and they didn't say anything. So either they didn't know, maybe, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They didn't know, they didn't notice, or they don't care enough about me to like help me. See, that would be a terrible feeling to me, to think that I asked someone's opinion on something and they didn't tell me everything because they didn't think enough about me or care enough about me to want me to be successful. So I'm the same way, Conklin. I'm like, I know it's a word, I just don't know how to spell it. Or I think it looks wrong even though it's right. Or I think it looks right even though it's wrong. I'm sorry I keep coughing. My allergies and getting choked up on my coffee earlier, it went up my nose and it's just got me all a mess. But yeah, to me, correcting people's grammar or their spelling is like a love language. If I take the time to say, to edit your work or to edit your spelling or your grammar or your punctuation, you know that you are truly a friend of mine. If I don't take the time, I don't care about you. Like if I see an error, and I never say anything about it, it's like, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me how you present yourself to the world or what other people think about you. I don't care. So think of it as a love language. Good. I'm glad you take it that way, Conklin, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people think I'm trying to act like I'm better than them or smarter than them. And just because I know how to spell words or I know how punctuation and grammar work, that doesn't mean I think I'm smarter than you. It just means that some people notice that stuff and some people don't, you know? So there you go. If you ever need anything edited, I'm your girl. Okay? Even when I'm reading books for pure enjoyment, I see so many errors, and it really does affect my enjoyment if I see errors, because I think, nobody took the time to find that and correct it or tell the person or whatever. I've offered probably 20 people on YouTube when I find out they're in school. I've probably offered 20 people that if they want to send me their papers and stuff when they do them, that I will edit them for free for them. And nobody has taken me up on it. And I feel like they think that I think I'm smarter than them when I do that. But that's not it. Number one, I enjoy doing it. And number two, I must care enough about your education and you getting the best out of it that that I would offer that to you, So I think people just don't understand where I come from when I correct things like that. It truly is a sign that I like someone, that I care about them, that they're my friend. It really is a love language for me. And it kind of hurts my feelings when people don't see it that way. But that's my problem, not theirs. Right. And that's what I was saying. It's not that I think I'm smarter than the person I'm correcting. It's that I just know different things than they do. I bet you know a lot of different things than I do that you could give me help with. I did get a B in the writing class. It might be because of that damn 2-2. There you go. 2 with 2 zeros also means also. Very good. It's either a unit of too much or whatever, or also. Good point. See, I didn't even connect it with the use of also, but you are correct. Yep. People must really hate me when I get on these tangents about stuff like this. I imagine that people get so annoyed with me. But, these are the things I think about and I do, and I try to explain them the best I can. I used it as also. Yes, you did. You very much did. At least you didn't use TWO. You were that much sure of it. So that's good. That's good. Yeah, so anytime you're saying like something is too something, like it's too scary, or it's too boring, or it's too much, or it's too little, it's always the double O's. So it's a unit, like meaning in excess of something. So an excess of. Like someone's too tall, that would be 2 zeros. Or someone's too lazy, it's 2 zeros. You won't forget, maybe. Well, at least it's a question you can ask yourself now when you're writing it and you get to the word to. You can say, am I talking about an excess of? And if you are, then you know that it's an excess of O's. See? See how that works? It'll help you remember. 2 with 2 zeros has an excess of O's. And that's when you would use it if something is in excess of normalcy. See? See? We made a connection with the rule there. It's too cold outside. Is it in excess of cold? Yes. Then it would be in excess of O's. Maybe use 800. Look at that. We're making like mind connections of how to do it. I am a grammar Nazi. I really am. And the first thing that will ruin my enjoyment of anything will be errors in spelling, grammar, punctuation, and another one when I listen to documentaries. Another one that will ruin my enjoyment is mispronunciations. If someone pronounces something wrong, it will really make it not fun for me to listen to. So, yeah. Pronunciations, punctuations, grammar, spelling, all those things. There's this one paranormal site that goes and does paranormal investigations, and I like to listen to them, except their grammar is so terrible. Their subject-verb agreements are awful, and it drives me insane. It ruins it for me, and even if I'm really, really interested in the investigation they're doing, I can't listen. Like, they'll say things like, was you killed? Was you killed? When they're trying to like ask the ghosts questions and stuff. Was you a child? Was you a kid? Was you burnt? The use of was in that instance will drive me insane, and they say it every single time it's were. Were you a child? Were you killed? And it makes me crazy. I will stop listening to something that I would normally really enjoy if that's the case. I can't handle it. Right, Conklin, I do too, but most of the time I know, and every time I will hear them mispronounce that word, it will just dig and dig a little deeper into me, especially like if I know it because I know for a fact that, let's just use the example of the last name Johnson, okay? So say I'm listening to something about a serial killer whose name is Johnson. That means they're gonna say that name at least 300 times in an hour-long documentary, right? But if the person is pronouncing it Jonson, I will go insane. And every time they say Jonson, I have to say out loud, Johnson. And if I don't say it out loud, I'll go insane. So yeah, mispronunciations will drive me crazy. And I have been known to stop listening to something that's very interesting and very informative simply because they keep mispronouncing a word. I don't know why it affects me mentally so much, but it does. It is one of the things that will drive me insane. So when I'm doing something and I'm not sure how something's pronounced, I'll say clearly before I say the word, I'm not sure if it's pronounced this way or that way. And then I'll try to get clarification. But there are some words that you'll hear pronounced both ways and it's okay. Now I can accept that. Like I can't think of a word right off the top of my head. Okay, like tomato or tomato, right? I've heard people say it both ways, and it's acceptable in different countries or cultures to pronounce it one way or the other. That doesn't bother me. If someone keeps saying, oh, the tomatoes were delicious, the tomatoes are in season, that doesn't bother me. Even though I would say it tomato, it won't drive me insane because I know that it's still acceptable. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being a real stickler for rules, like grammar rules and all that kind of stuff. Someone commented on a Facebook post, and Facebook asked if I wanted to translate to English. It was in English, just bad English. You know your English is very poor if it asks if you want to translate it to English. So yeah. Another thing that bothers me is when people use talk or speak in the wrong form. Also, because you said bad English, that is a great band. But also, when people use bad and poor in the wrong context, like when someone says, oh, I'm feeling bad, while that sounds okay and it won't drive me insane, if it was in a writing or something and you were editing, you would use poor or poorly. I'm feeling poorly. So yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of rules and stuff that you can get away with and that don't bother me that much. But like in editing, I take that seriously, and and it makes me feel good that I can help someone with that. Because if you're just talking and you're telling someone like, oh, I feel bad today or whatever, that's fine. It's not going to drive me off the face of the earth, with insanity. But if you were putting that in writing, that's something that most people wouldn't think of, wouldn't catch. And, I don't know, maybe I'm just neurotic as hell. I think that might be it. All right. Well, now that I've driven myself crazy enough, and probably you as well, I'll just throw this out there. If you ever need anything edited, let me know. I'm more than happy to do it free of charge, simply for my own pleasure and knowing that that it would be helpful. And that goes out to anyone who listens to me, actually. I enjoy reading. I enjoy editing. I enjoy being helpful. And yeah. Yeah, I have Grammarly, and occasionally, I'm caught by Grammarly. But there are times too when, Grammarly doesn't get the context quite right, and I've challenged Grammarly in one. So Grammarly and I have argued. Usually Grammarly wins, but there have been times when I have been successful in saying, Suck it, Grammarly. You were wrong. So, okay, well, I think I'm going to get off here. I've been on here for, God, 116 minutes? I only meant to come on here and play Mahjong and talk about how I'd let that guy kill me before I'd run. Because I'm too old and fat, and I'm not spending the last few minutes of my life running through the forest. You know what? You're going to kill me anyway. Just give me a chocolate bar. Let me take a few bites of it and kill me. But you're not going to enjoy this because I'm not going to give you the thrill of the hunt. Well, if spell soul is soul, it won't catch it. Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes it will if it can read the context. Like if you put, I don't know if it would catch it if you put the sole of my foot and you spelled it like your soul, like your inner soul. It may because of the context of being used with the word foot. But yeah, a lot of times if you know, it doesn't catch them. Okay, well, thanks for coming in, Conklin. It was a good conversation. I got a lot of shit off my mind. And cherry bonbons. I think that if it were me, my last gift of chocolate, I wouldn't want cherry bonbons. I think I would want either a Hershey's Special Dark. I love dark chocolate. Or maybe a turtle cluster, like with the nuts and the caramel and the chocolate, and maybe a little bit of sea salt sprinkled on top of it. Oh, that would be good. Yeah. But if it's just like a chocolate bar, I'll take a Special Dark. And I think I got my love for Special Darks because at Halloween, I could trade 2 of the little Special Darks for 1 of the regulars. So I ended up with more candy, even if I didn't quite enjoy it as much. But over time, my tastes changed so that I actually love dark chocolate. So yeah, whenever we get the Special Dark or the bags of the Hershey's miniatures, and they have the Mr. Good bar, the milk chocolate, the, let's see, it used to be Crackle, but now it might be something else. And then the Special Dark, I know all the Special Darks are going to be mine. So yeah, it was really just a way of ending up with more candy than everyone else. I acquired the taste for it, and hey, it pays off in dividends of chocolate. But yeah, I really do like the Special Darks, the dark chocolates. Okay, well, I'm going to let you go. I'm glad you're doing the AI thing. I'm glad you didn't get offended when I corrected your title there. And that means we're friends. That comes from my childhood taste. Oh, I cannot handle cocoa powder. Nope. It's got to have a little sugar mixed in with it. I mean, cocoa powder is good. You can make good cakes with it and stuff. But I couldn't just like stick my finger in it and lick it. Ugh. That's too much. I do like the semi-sweet chocolate chips, though. If I can't, if I don't feel like making cookies, but I have the ingredients, sometimes I'll just open a bag of semi-sweet chocolate chips and eat some of them. I don't like the regular sweet ones. They're too much. I always get the semi-sweet. They're pretty good. All right, let me go. You keep talking to me. Gosh. I enjoyed the chat too. See you next time. Mwah.